Guys, they all laughed at us. 686% on that BTC short that I posted for free on my Twitter. So if you're not following me, guys, go and subscribe. I hope you guys have printed. I hope you've made a lot of money over the last week. I've made more than I make in an entire, used to make in an entire year this week. It's been absolutely phenomenal. Almost a 10K drop. I think when I'd done the video about this, BTC was actually around 78, 79K, and it came down to 60K. So, almost a 20K move there, guys. I hope you guys are printing. I know we're getting loads of tweets. Big up Athena, posted that she was using the SMC bot and she's been taking shorts all the way down. Congratulations. We've been shorting BTC from 125K, ETH from over 4K, and we've been making a killing. Big up the guys in the group who have also been printing. Big up Drax. You can see some of my shorts here, 693. Solana, we've been shorting. Ethereum, we've been shorting. We've been making an absolute killing, guys. So if you want to join us, jump in the Discord, head over to my Twitter, and you can jump in and get involved with us. So we've got a few things to talk about. Where's price going? What's going on? We've been talking about this happening for some weeks now on the YouTube channel. You see, 4 weeks ago, I was saying the harsh truth about BTC. 2 weeks ago, sell Bitcoin now. It's over. The signal flashed. We had a signal flash on Solana saying that it was about to crash from the SMC bot. We had a yellow topping candle, which hasn't appeared since Solana was around all-time high. So I think it was around 220 to 250. Then we had billionaires dumping BTC. People were calling them dumb, saying they don't know what they're doing. And I said, look, is the smart money actually exiting the market right now? This was 10 days ago. And then 21 hours ago, well, this was a few days ago now, I posted the unthinkable is about to happen to BTC. So guys, if you're not subscribed, click the like button, drop the subscribe. Also, let me know if you made money short in this market. And if you didn't buy or DCA, like all of these KOLs were telling us to, don't forget you're also up, right? If you're not short in the market and you were just sitting in stable coins waiting for the bear market, you're making money every day because the price of pretty much everything is collapsing, right? So yeah, big up Rob as well from Digital Asset News. He commented on our channel saying you're really underappreciated. Go and follow him as well. An amazing channel. He does regular updates on the market. Very, very good insights. I really respect his opinion. Go and follow his channel on YouTube and Twitter, as well, as I watch so many of his videos and I've learned so much from him as well. And I replied saying, look, we sold 33% at each altcoin season rally. So this is kind of where we sold our first portion of our altcoins, second portion of our altcoins, third portion of our altcoins. We got very lucky, right? I did say we did have some luck here because I planned 3 DCA outs. I didn't know there was going to be 3 exact peaks, okay? So it worked out perfectly for us. We had 3 altcoin seasons. Most alts were going crazy in these periods, and that's when we decided to get out. Every time I see froth, euphoria, things up 400, 700. I mean, something we got into went up over 3,000x. It was absolutely insane, and those are the times where I step back. I'm getting greedy, I'm getting frothy, I'm taking some money off the table, and now look at the absolute state of this chart. I mean, I had a lot of money in Solana because I bought a lot of Solana down here in the bear market, and it was so much money, and I would be devastated if I'd have held that because it's down. I think it's down over 72%, 73%. So, most of my portfolio would have been absolutely wiped. And some altcoins are down 90, 99%. Okay, so don't forget the game. We will go into another bear market, and it's highly likely that this same thing will happen again. There'll be froth, euphoria, will rally to the upside. If you've messed up this cycle and it's your first cycle, most people mess up in their first cycles. Okay, so don't get down, don't get sad, don't get depressed. You're learning how the game works. And hopefully on this channel, you've learned so much, right? You've learned so much, not to be too frothy, not to be too greedy, not to, and to be patient. This is a game of patience. Every 4 years, everything goes crazy and then it crashes, normally to levels that you would never expect or could predict, right? It normally goes beyond our wild predictions. Last cycle, I don't think anyone expected Solana to go to $8. It was over $200, right? No one expected it to go to $8, but it did. And those who took profits saved an absolute fortune, and those who bought the dip ended up changing their life, right? Who bought the bear market dip, not these casual little dips. What else have we got here? So still on a sell signal from the SMC bar, we had a yellow topping weekly candle up here. We came back and got rejected from the SMC weekly, rejected from the SMC weekly. The trend is your friend until the end. We're sitting around 63.4K now. You guys know I still think we've got much lower to go. We rejected from the 200-day moving average. Last cycle that happened, BTC came down 63%. I don't think we're going to come down 63% from that level. That would take us to some crazy levels. So 63% correction is this is what happened last cycle, right? We technically could come down to 30K. I'm open to the idea that we can come down to 30 to 35K, but I think we need a black swan event, which I'm going to talk about in this video. If we see a black swan event, I'm open to the idea of coming down to 30 to 35K. I do not think that's going to happen without a massive black swan event. I do think we're going to bottom higher. And of course, I'm going to be posting inside my Discord when I'm buying Solana again, when I'm buying BTC again, if I buy Ethereum. And that is a massive if. I'm going to be doing loads of research into ETH, looking on chain, looking at the whales, looking at the institutions, looking at the insiders. If all of the smart money are buying ETH at $1,000, maybe I'm going to buy ETH at $1,000, right? I'm going to assess it at the time. I don't know right now whether I'm going to buy because I don't know what all of the insiders are doing. And most of our plays this cycle have been based around what the insiders are doing. And, you know, as they say, follow the smart money, right? The smart money have been so consistent and accurate. And it's one of the main reasons I was selling Solana here, because loads of the smart money and insiders were selling here and here. They were taking profits here. I saw an account take over $100 million in profit when Solana pierced up over 250. I think they sold at 280. It was absolutely insane. And yeah, we came straight back down. So going to keep you guys posted on what I'm doing right now. Things don't go down in a straight line. We obviously have a massive level here at 60K. Things don't go down in a straight line. If we do start closing weekly candles below 60K, we're in a lot of trouble, okay? We're definitely in a lot of trouble. So that's something to keep an eye on. But yeah, there's a lot of support here. We're not quite oversold on the RSI. The RSI has still got a long way to come down. This could completely reset. See where the RSI reset down here? It wasn't until the RSI reset on the weekly until we started to see this move to the upside. Same down here, RSI came down, we started to see this move to the upside. The last time the RSI was overbought, it was this massive drawdown. Last time it was overbought before, it was this massive drawdown, okay? So that's something to also take into consideration. Do I trade solely off the RSI? No, I'm looking at the smart money, I'm looking at Glassnode, I'm looking at whale volumes, I'm looking at all sorts of data to put together to build some confluence. I would never trade solely off one indicator, even the SMC bot. All right, I use it as confluence. I wouldn't trade solely off of the MC bot, but it has been very accurate. And if the rest of the data lines up, then I will take a position based on that data, right? So I was saying, guys, it's been crazy. I still can't believe this happened. BTC has followed my predicted path to almost the exact dollar for over 16 months. Now, I don't know any other accounts that have made a kind of prediction like this. When I got into crypto, I found quite early that people say it could go up, it could go down. You know, this is what happens if it goes up. This is what happens if it goes down. We've actually been sticking our neck on the line saying that these things are about to happen, right? Big crash coming, it's over, smart money are getting out of the market, and then bang, the entire market collapses, right? We're not saying if this happens, if that happens, if this happens. We're saying, guys, we have high confidence here that the market is about to come to the downside. And to make this prediction, I've not seen it. I've never seen anyone. In my 6 years of being in the space, I've never seen anyone make a prediction where it follows down to 75K, up to 125K, and then down to my potential target, which I'm going to tell you guys. This last bit, the yellow, look, you could argue that we technically should come down to the yellow. And this is the argument I just mentioned. We could come down to the yellow. I think we need a black swan event. We did have a black swan event last cycle, which brought us down to the yellow. This is kind of the 30 to 35K region. Yes, it's possible with a black swan event. If we don't see a black swan event, I think we're going to front run it. Okay, that's just my opinion. That's my speculation. It doesn't mean to happen. I think we're going to front run that level, partly because it is slightly different in terms of institutional investors are here, ETF access is here. And this is going to be an opportunity for the banks and all the institutions to load up more. Another tweet I posted, which is quite interesting, the fact that BTC, ETH, and Sol are crashing and a select few alts are pumping, okay? So BTC, ETH, and Sol were tanking so much that normally all altcoins should be tanking by much more, right? It should be an exaggeration of what's happening with the largest caps. But we saw near Hyperliquid, Zcash pumping, right? We saw just a handful of altcoins pumping during this crash, which is absolutely insane. World Liberty Finance had a pump too. Tells you all you need to know about how much money and power the cabal have in this space, right? So this is my opinion. This was my opinion and speculation. This is on June the 3rd. And look what happened today. Arthur Hayes, I've dumped my entire hype and near position. I will explain why in a further essay. And now we see hype is crashing, near is crashing. Exactly what I was saying. The cabal have been pumping these altcoins. We're probably going to see them tank. We're going to start to see all of the largest KOLs are probably going to come out and explain why they're dumping on the market after saying these things were going to go to, go up 10x, 20x, 30x in a bear market. And we see the classic thing happen every cycle, right? We see people pump, shill. This one's different, it's going to the moon, and then I've sold my entire bag. Thanks for playing. I mean, this is the game, right? Don't forget, guys, everyone's here to make money. Everyone is trying to make money. Kalshi, just in 75% chance Ethereum falls below 1,500. So 75% chance is very, very high. Tom Lee must be literally shaking his boots right now because he is going to be in so many losses. I think he's already in around 10 billion or something crazy in losses. So yeah, my target for ETH is around $1,000. Okay, so I might go lower, I might go higher, but it's roughly around $1,000. Now that's going to change depending on what happens with BTC, Black Swan events, STRC, quantum computing. Okay, so I'm going to say now, my target might change, but nearer the time. Okay, so if I don't even know if I'm going to buy Ethereum yet, right? I do all the deep research when it's time to buy because everything might have changed. Vitalik might have taken a new stance. Vitalik's taking a new stance every other week. He's stepping back. He's now going to write a book. Loads of things are changing. And when it's time to buy, when I think Bitcoin has bottomed, that's kind of when I look at altcoins. People say, what's your price target on Hyperliquid? What's your price target? Guys, I don't care, right? Because what happens in a bear market is this. I've sold my entire hype. Loads of institutions are now going to also sell their Hyperliquid, right? Loads of KOLs. We might see Nansen come out and say he's going to sell his Hyperliquid because Arthur's getting out of the market, right? Why are you going to let everyone dump on you first? Normally in a bear market, all assets come down. So many things will change over the next 3 months. Massive accounts will get out, institutions will sell. It becomes a spiraling effect as we go into the bear market. So I don't waste my time right now saying I'm going to buy at this price or that price. I do very deep research. I might actually research Ethereum, straight every day for, 3 or 4 days, really trying to understand it, really looking on chain at the smart money and institutions. Are they holding? Are they DCAing? Are they buying more? I really want to dig deep into making it because Ethereum's going to be a low risk play for me. So if I'm going to buy it, I need to put a lot of money into it to make any money, right? I'm not trying to make a 10, 20, 30x. I might be trying to make a 5x on Ethereum, right? If it drops to 1K, it's a 5x to 5K, whereas people might have targets of 10, like I think Tom Lee said 60K. People have got these crazy targets. My targets are low, right? The way I try to make money is by buying at the right time, buying time in the market, buying at the best time in the bear market, and then holding, and then not being greedy, right? So a lot of Tom Lee, I think he was DCAing in around 4K. I might actually be selling at his average price, right? At his entry price because I was patient. Like Warren Buffett says, most of his money has been made by waiting and being patient. And that's one of the best things I learned from Warren. And that is so valuable. That's why we made so much money on Solana. We waited for the right time to buy. We waited for the right, for the bear market. And, I made life-changing money on Solana. And, we've done some great sales here. Really, really good sales out. DGen News, go and follow the channel too. Breaking Sailor strategy, BTC portfolio flips Tom Lee's in losses. Strategy is down 10.9 billion. absolutely must be one of the worst investors in BTC. He's been in the space over 6 years and he's at a loss. How is that even possible, right? That's possible by just being a terrible trader and investor and just buying all-time high. He keeps buying all-time high. He's trying to encourage other people to buy all-time high. Most people know that this is a very volatile space and that it's probably going to crash 60 to 70% every 4 years. And they didn't follow him, right? He didn't manage to sucker people in. Saylor wants the 4-year cycle to break really badly. He wants to break the 4-year cycle. The problem is Saylor bought so much at all-time high, along with some ETFs and institutions. We didn't break that cycle. Now Saylor's going to realize, well, if this was our chance to break, we've done everything. We got, even Trump was on the news shilling BTC to retail. We've done everything we possibly could. You might even have Democrats come in next cycle. In my opinion, you're never going to outperform the amount of shilling and global adoption that we had this cycle, which means technically we should never break the 4-year cycle, right? We either don't break it or we underperform it. That's how I kind of feel about next cycle, which means I have to try and get the price, I have to try and DCA in as low as possible to make any money in the next cycle, right? Bitcoin down 9.2 billion, absolutely insane. He's going to be in some horrendous losses if he hits my target. I still think it could come down another, it could come to 1K, man, which means he's going to be pushing 16 billion, 17 billion losses. The good news is if he doesn't sell, we're going to have to watch Tom Lee, because if he doesn't sell, because Saylor started to sell, I need to do a video on Saylor's sales, because I think they're introducing us to him selling. I don't think there's any reason to sell $2 million unless you're easing people into selling. Why would you sell $2 million and create loads of FUD, knowing the market's going to dump on you? To me, it's an introduction to, hey, look, we are going to sell and we're going to sell more. And watch Tom Lee. If Tom Lee sells, ETH's going to absolutely tank as well. It's going to have a huge, huge sell-off. If he doesn't sell, it makes it a much better play, because it means he's probably not going to sell at all, right? If he doesn't sell at $900, $1,000, 1.3, whatever, he's probably going to hold it and shill it for the next 4 years, hoping that it can get back up. And if you know Tom Lee, when he invests, he becomes a max bull. He doesn't really get fudded out, or he doesn't panic sell. He kind of just holds and shills and hopes for the best. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But normally, people will DCA into assets that are down a lot, right? So yeah, let's see what happens with that. Now, STRC is started to depeg. Now, this reminds me a lot of FTX last cycle, if you were here. If you remember FTX, if you remember Luna, we had some crazy black swan events that brought the entire market down. This could be one of those black swan events. As it is starting to depeg, we're starting to see a lot of fear in the markets. And if this starts to come down, the strategy might have to sell assets, MSTR, increase dividends for MSTR, or sell more Bitcoin. And it could get bad, right? It could create more fear, more panic. People will think, because the FTX PTSD is still here, a lot of people remember that. A lot of people remember that. So when they see things like this, it creates fear. And also institutions they have hundreds of millions in BTC. Are they going to sit and hope that this works out? They see Saylor selling, they see this depegging. Normally, if you're a smart trader, you would de-risk, right? You would de-risk. Can BTC come down 50%? Yes. So which means that I have a 100 million portfolio, I'd lose 50 million. Am I prepared to do that? No. I'm going to de-risk. Historically, we're in a bear market. BTC usually comes down 50% here. There's way too many things right now for institutions to just hold and hope. On top of that, we completely detached from the stock market. The stock market's been up only. This riskier asset is coming down, and it looks like the 4-year cycle is playing out again, right? So guys, that's pretty much it. If you made gains on the shorts, let me know below. What's your bottom targets for some of these assets? Where do you think ETH might bottom, BTC might bottom, Solana might bottom in the future? Let me know your thoughts and opinions, where you think this market's going to go. Don't forget, none of the information in this video is financial advice. Do your own research. Investing in crypto, investing in anything is highly risky, and you can lose all of your money investing in anything. These are just my strategies. This is just what I'm doing. As you know, I've already diversified into real estate. I bought a property. I've got a Rolex. I've got money in stocks. I am diversifying, and this was my strategy all along. I went quite heavy into crypto in the bear market. I made a lot of money, and now I am diversifying. I'm not saying that's what everyone else should do. This is just what works for me. I don't want to ever go broke again. And if I follow some of these guys like Arthur Hayes, who's saying go 90, he's 90% in crypto, I feel like I potentially could go broke again by gambling. To me, that's gambling. It's taking too much risk. So, you know, slow and steady wins the race is my strategy, and I am diversifying. If you don't have much capital to play with, some of you might not be able to get a property or a Rolex, or you know, maybe stocks is too slow growth for you. You have to do what works for you. Okay, I can't give you any advice. I can't give you any financial advice. So I'm not a financial advisor. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like and subscribe. If you want to join us and you want to get this SMC bot in your own trading view that gives buys and sells, it literally just snaps to grid, guys. So you don't have to do anything. It comes for free with the paid Patreon, and I can get you set up in this, and then you just literally, any asset you want to click at, you just click on, and it will snap to grid with these buy and sell signals. This is the weekly time frame, so you can go through the daily, the 4 hourly, etc., and it's going to give you those signals like we had here, right? So this was the daily time frame, and you know, if you took this sell here from the SMC bot, you absolutely printed, right? And maybe you even took it on some leverage. And this buy signal, right? Buy signal down here was around 70K, I think 71K, and it went up to 84K. So huge gains if you took that long, then huge gains if you took that short, because the price has literally come down over 10K from where that hit. So yeah, if you want to join us, head over to my Twitter, search this bottom one, not the top one, and click this link here, and there's going to be a link in there to join the Discord. We'll get you set up. You can also see exactly what I'm doing, right? When I'm taking profits, I posted in my Discord today saying I took a little bit of profits off the table because these gains are ridiculous, right? And I'm nearly 7x up on that short. So I did take some profits off the table, guys. I'm still short. I've still got decent size into my short. But I did take some gains off the table. No one went broke taking profits. And I want to make sure that I'm building cash to buy. I can, based off this short I took, I can nearly buy a whole Bitcoin if it crashes, right? When it comes down in the bear market. So the game for me is taking profits from these shorts and then buying spot. I'm not looking to gamble these away because you can lose a lot of money. Leverage trading, if you don't have discipline, I'm not looking to gamble this money. I'm looking to start to put this into my USDC account to then buy BTC in the bear market, right? Or whatever assets I decide to buy. Maybe I buy Hyperliquid, maybe I buy more Solana, maybe I buy Ethereum. I don't know until the bear market arrives. But the priority for me right now is making money, making cash, getting ready to repeat another 4-year cycle. And I am going to make another crazy prediction like this, okay? See this? I'm going to draw, when we hit the bear market bottom, I'm not going to know where the tops and bottoms might be until we hit a bear market bottom. Once we hit a bear market bottom, obviously I'm going to try and long the bottom of the market. I really would love to get into a nice big long position at the bottom. And I'm also going to start buying spot. And then I'm going to draw out my price predictions for where I think next cycle is going to go to the upside and then to the top of the market, right? If you get those two things right, you change your life, right? If you buy near the bottom and you sell near the top, you absolutely change your life. So that's going to be my priority as soon as we reach one of those bear market bottoms. Big ups for tuning in, guys. That's it for now. Until then, I will catch you in the next one.